the biblical word in Hebrew, Bal Tashit, which means do not destroy any part of creation. So now I want to show you some references from the Bible and also from English literature, which concerns about deep ecology model. So this class is going to be very interesting. It doesn't follow any serious discussion. We are just playing with some of the brilliant quotes that illustrate the importance of the deep ecology ethics. So this next 45 minutes will be really very interesting for you. And after this class, when you go home today, one more homework I want to give you. Just type quotes, brilliant quotes on environmental ethics. All right? Brilliant quotes on environmental ethics. Actually, quotes will give you wisdom and knowledge. Very fun way to learn. You will never forget. In the process of digging out for brilliant quotes, you will come across some of the greatest authors. One who wrote big treatise on environmental ethics. So those are the authors you need to focus on, and then find their writings and books, and you read those books. That is how you become a teacher of ecology, environment, and environmental ethics. So this is how you learn. The best way to learn, I learned my lessons through brilliant quotes on environmental ethics. That is the best place to look for resources when you want to learn more and more on environmental ethics. Anyway, here is the Bible word in Old Testament, Bal Tashit. Do not destroy anything in creation. Actually, this is a deep ecological reference I am giving you. It is rooted in Deuteronomy chapter 20, verse 19 to 20. Rabbinical tradition expanded Bal Tashit to prohibit the unnecessary destruction of creation. One example I want to give you is Rabbi Abraham Isaiah Karelitz. He prohibits, not only he prohibits, the law Bal Tashit prohibits the diverting of a river or a stream. If the river goes on a southern course, if you are diverting into western course, that is not right. That is ethically wrong. Because that river created itself, nature created it. So nature has the copyright. So you don't have any copyright to tamper with the course of the river. So Isaiah Karelitz, the rabbi, stresses the water rights and rights of the trees and rights of the animals and so on and so forth. So that makes me to give you one more homework, that is Psalm number 104. That is the psalm which is known as the Psalm of Creation, in which you find brilliant writings, especially rivers, trees, birds, fire, wind. Actually, I call that psalm as Psalm of Evolution, because it starts with the Panchabhutas and it moves on to microscopic bacteria, then multicellular organism, then fishes, amphibians, reptiles, mammals, humans, technology, ships, so on and so forth. So I call that psalm as the psalm of evolution. Or in Tamil culture, I call it Tiruvasagam. Before Manikavasagar, in the Bible, we have a Tiruvasagam. That is Psalm number 104. When you read in Tamil, you feel like the ethos, the feeling. You get as if you are reading Tiruvasagam. The Panjabhutas, Vanagi, Mannagi, Valiyagi, it comes there. The whole Tiruvasagam is being enacted 4,000 years ago. Manikavasagar came 1,500 years ago and wrote Tiruvasagam, but Psalm 104 written some 3,000 or 3,500 years ago. So it is the Tiruvasagam for me and also Psalm of evolution for me, but for church, for Christianity, it is the Psalm of creation. So I think if you read that Psalm, you pray that Psalm tonight before going to bed. When you wake up in the morning, you pray the same Psalm in order to focus your attention on environmental ethics. Here I have to mention that there are a number of environmental ethic writers and philosophers, environmental activists, those who fight for the nature's right, those who promote Baal Tashit. In other words, don't destroy any parts of creation. There are women and men in the past, in the Western world and in the Eastern world, especially in India. India has plenty of environmental activists. As I told you, India has the best record in the world level in environmental issues. 540 sanctuaries, 132 national parks, and hotspots of biodiversity. I think India has it all. India can be a role model to the whole world on environmental ethics. So we come from such a land, and I am lucky and you are lucky, and we are learning first hand. It is not second hand, third hand, first hand. We are exposed to the idea of environmental ethics. So in that sense, there are a lot of environmental activists I want to give you, especially some names you should remember in India, like Chandi Prasad Bhatt, his name. Chandi Prasad Bhatt. You Google him tonight. Bhatt, B-H-A-T-T, Bhatt. He is the man from Himalayas, Himalayan mountain, one who saved those big Devadaru trees. When people went to deforest, this man brought some people and then they hugged the trees. And many movements are started afterwards, like Chipko movement, that is tree huggers. They are known as tree huggers. When people come to log the wood, people go and hug the trees. So if you want to cut the tree, you cut us first, and then you cut the tree. We want to die with the tree. It's called Chipko movement, tree huggers. The man behind this concept is Chandi Prasad Bhatt, a famous man. Each Indian should know about this simple man from Himalayas. Simple man. He is alive and he is living even today. So please Google Chandi Prasad Bhatt. And Sundarlal Bahuguna, there is another Chipko member. These people are all environmental ethical thinkers and also environmental activists and who saved such a mighty trees in Himalayas. Today when you go to Himalayas, you see those huge giants and you need to thank to these people. Otherwise, they would have been cut and we would have lost our national heritage. Today we have peacocks, we have tigers, we have king cobras because of these kind of wonderful people who put their lives on the line to protect these endangered species of animals and plants. So today we owe a big deal to these people. But most importantly, I want to mention one name here is Medha Patkar, the woman. She is the, Narmada Bachao Andolan organization's president, I think. Medha Patkar. If you don't know her, I think you are the most ignorant student in the whole world. That is not nice. Don't tell I don't know her. You should tell I know her. Medha Patkar, Narmada Bachao, saving Narmada river. So why I want to talk about her here, because this is the woman who wanted to save water, river rights. I told you, everything in the natural world have right to exist, right to flourish, right to fulfill their role for the common good of the planet. 3 rights. This is a woman who recognized those kind of rights, and she was fighting for the rights of the river. Yeah. Let the water go free. Why do you put the water in the jail called dam? Dams are kind of jail for the water. The Panchabhutas are free. They go everywhere. They don't have any borders. They don't have passport. They don't have visa. You go to Pakistan border, the Indian wind goes to Pakistan, Pakistan wind comes here. The Indian water goes to Pakistan, Pakistan water come here. The Indian snake goes to Pakistan, Pakistan snake comes to India. There is no passport. Nobody stops and asks the snake, where is the passport? Where is the visa? Look at the birds, they fly beyond borders, no passport, no visa. Insects, even the dust from Sahara travels all the way to Amazon forest, crisscrossing Atlantic Ocean, almost 13,000 kilometers away, and fertilizes the plants of Amazon. And today the biologists find the sand from Sahara desert flying all the way across Atlantic Ocean and fertilizes. They don't have visa, they don't have passport. See, the whole Panchabhutas, they travel beyond borders. There is no restrictions for them. They live in freedom. But only one pathetic loser, that is Homo sapiens, human beings, they live in prison. They are absolutely losers. Pathetic, unfortunate species ever born on the planet is human beings. Wherever you want to go, you need passport. You need visa. And also they give you only 3 months some countries, 1 month some countries, 1 year some countries. Why? When all other abiotic and biotic can go wherever they want, why humans can't do that? That is sad note, very sad note. So Medha Patkar really understands the freedom-filled nature of Panjabhutas, especially here water. For the past 20 million years, Narmada River was flowing from the east to the west and emptying itself in Arabian Sea. It was traveling almost 1,500 kilometers from the east to west. But now, the river is not reaching to the Arabian Sea. The water is being emptied. And she is arguing that Narmada River is not created by humans. Nature created it. When nature created that river, it meanders. It doesn't go straight in a line. No, it meanders. It goes left, right, zigzag, as if it has a consciousness, as if a river endowed with reason. Because here is trees. The river gives water to the trees. And the river remembers there are animals on the left-hand side, 20 kilometers away. The river goes to the animals and gives water. And suddenly the river remembers, oh my God, 40 kilometers to the right, there is a great forest, old forest. It needs water, so it goes there, meandering, meandering. That's why rivers meander. Meander means going zigzag, zigzag. So that is how rivers were created. And on the way, some rivers create magnificent scenes, scenarios, magnificent sights like waterfalls, like rock sculptures, unbelievable. Even today when you go, you enjoy them like Niagara Falls, Victoria Falls, in Tamil Nadu, Dharmaburi, Okenakal Falls. They make such a sublime sculptures. So now, Medha Patkar argues that when you build a dam, that is, humans came last. Human life is only 4 million years. But these animals and plants were drinking Narmada's waters about 20 million years. How come 4 million years ago a monkey came and this monkey wants to take all the water? This monkey builds dams. Dams. Damn it. Builds dams. Not one dams, hundreds of dams. Hundreds of dams. Now, the whole water is blocked. That's why I asked you to read Psalm number 104. When you compare Medha Patkar's argument and Psalm number 104, it fits. It fits. You will enjoy. Wow, yes, I see Medha Patkar's efforts. They are meaningful efforts. That's what you will conclude. So Medha Patkar is saying, in other words, humans can take water, no problem. You use the water. Everybody is entitled to use the waters, Narmada's waters, no problem. But don't build dams. The same flow. You can take water and you can cultivate rice, you can cultivate peanuts, groundnuts, you can cultivate corn, vegetables, no problem, no problem. Take it. But don't build a dam and stop the water, because countless trees and animals and those beautiful waterfalls, those beautiful sculptures, rock sculptures, they are all starved without a backdrop of water. Yes, you can't do that. How many animals die? How many birds disappear? How many amphibians without water they once and for all they go extinct? Countless animals they have gone extinct because we switched off Narmada's water. So Narmada Patkar simply telling the water is a free element. Allow water to go free. So breach all the dams. Don't build any dams. In the process, she supports also the poor tribals because the poor tribal land is being flooded out because these dams, they hold water beyond the capacity of the environment. They flood out poor people's homes and lands. So she also fights for the rights of the poor people. So I think Medha Patkar is not only a philosopher, she is a spiritual leader, philosophical thinker, and like this rabbi talking, Baal Tashit prohibits the diverting of a river or a stream is not ethical. See, the Old Testament Baal Tashit. So Medha Patkar is also doing Baal Tashit. So she is absolutely biblical. She is very parallel with the teachings of Christianity, defending the rights of water, soil, air, other life forms including humans. Here is another quote from the book of Deuteronomy, how we should treat trees when you are engaged in a war, in a siege. The Bible is telling you shouldn't cut the trees at all. If at all you want to cut them, don't cut the fruit-bearing trees. The barren trees, you can cut them. But allow the fruit-bearing trees to survive, because humans and other creatures need them. Of course, there is instrumental value there, but at the same time, there is intrinsic value also is applied there. So I want to read the quote. Deuteronomy chapter 20, verses 19 to 20. When you lay siege to a city for a long time, fighting against it to capture it, do not destroy its trees by putting an axe to them, because you can eat their fruit. Do not cut them down. Are the trees people that you should besiege them? However, you may cut down trees that you know are not fruit trees and use them to build siege works until the city at war with you falls. So if there is no other opportunity, you can cut, because it is the necessity. Otherwise, don't touch them. I mean, are they people? Bible is asking, are the trees people that you should besiege them? I mean, they live in free. Trees are free. I already told you, in nature, everything lives in freedom. See, Bible also telling, are the trees people? It is asking, only people live in bondage and slavery. So are the trees also like people? No. That you should besiege them. Only human beings besiege each other, kill each other. Trees won't do that. In nature, they don't go and fight just as humans do. So it is shame to the humans when we read that quote. All right, now we have come to the English literature, where we find lot of quotes on deep ecology, model ethic. Here is Romanticism, which lasted from 1750 to 1870. What is the Romanticism? They were romanticizing nature. Nature was like God. Nature was like ultimate principle. Nature was like a symbol of freedom, as I just now mentioned. Whatever we long to create, already nature has created it. Perfection, freedom, liberty, beauty, enlightenment. Everything nature has created already. Only we have not, human society has not yet achieved them. So Romanticism is a longing. It's a longing to fulfill our aspirations as nature has fulfilled it. Romanticism is a movement in literature of virtually every country of Europe, the United States and Latin America. Romanticism was characterized by reliance on the imagination and subjectivity of approach, freedom of thought and expression, and an idealization of nature, deep ecology, ethos or ethics. So today you just Google Romanticism, what it's all about. Then you get to read some material, then you will understand, oh, Father was talking about deep ecology, ethos. So that is Romanticism. You know the Gothic architecture? What is the Gothic architecture? You know Chennai St. Thomas Cathedral. That is Gothic architecture. It looks like a tree. It looks like a tree reaching out to the sky. You go inside the cathedral, any cathedral you go inside, it looks like a rainforest canopy. That is the word, canopy. The same thing. Even the pipe organ reminds you of the thunder and lightning in the natural world. When the pipe organ is being played, ta-da-da, thunder and lightning. So that is the archetypal image when you build a cathedral which is known as a Gothic architecture. In Europe, thousands of architectures, cathedrals, the people have built just to remember the rainforest, trees, nature, and the paintings and the pipe organs, all were resembling nature. The English poems, they exalted nature. You know why? Because it was the starting of industrial revolution, beginning of industrial revolution, and also beginning of capitalism. The beginning of industrial revolution, the factories were built, coal was burned, fossil fuel was burned, Europe was polluted, all the flowers were covered with dust. People, great people like Goethe, William Wordsworth, Lord Byron, all these English poets, they felt sad and they wrote these poems. Those poems we read today in our college degree courses, and we never even remember the background in which these poems were written. So these poems expressed emotion over logic, intuition over science, instinct over reasoning. Some of the beautiful poems you get to read in this class right now. You know, as you like it, in 1580, William Shakespeare, he writes brilliantly on deep ecology ethos. In As You Like It, Act 2, Scene 1, finds tongues in trees, books in the running brooks, sermons in stones, and good in everything, I would not change it. William Shakespeare is the Gnostic. He doesn't believe in God much. But still, he finds God in nature. Like Manika Vasagar poem Managi Mannagi, same ethos. He finds God tongues in trees. You know Asoka tree in your campus? Asoka tree, everybody knows. You look at the leaves, they look like tongues, human tongue. So William Shakespeare is writing, when I look at the leaves in the trees, they look like tongues of God. Those leaves are speaking. God is speaking to me. All the leaves, when you look outside, look at them, they are the tongues of God. Books in the running brooks. You know the water running, a small water, puddle of water or a small stream. You hear a sound, murmur. It is called water's murmur. So he is telling that murmur in the running brooks. Brooks means stream. So God's word, the book, God's word is being read in the sound of the running waters. In that murmur, God is trying to tell me something. It is not the water sound. It is a murmur of God. As Prophet Elijah in the mountain, he heard thunder, he heard lightning, he heard earthquake, and at last a soft breeze began to flow. He heard the voice of God. So that is the same thing here. And he writes sermon in stones. I mean, we were talking about rocks, so many things. But Shakespeare says there is a sermon in the stone. It contains enormous amount of wisdom. That is the reason why stones, they don't talk. They have eternal silence. But they have everything. They treasured all these things in their hearts, as Mary would put it. The whole planet history is embedded, is imbibed in the stone material. If you're able to decipher, or if you're able to analyze the material inside the stone, you can read almost 3.8 billion or 4.5 billion years of history. It is in the block of stone. Whether it's big, small, little, they all contain the same and the similar history, the history of the planet, which extends all the way to 4.5 billion years. And sermons, the wisdom it contains, that is the reason why Jesus went to the wilderness, to learn from the stones. The Judean wilderness contains only stones. All wisdom comes from nature. Jesus learned everything from stones. He sat on them. He touched them. He talked to them. He slept on them. He wiped on the stones. And he loved stones. And he read them. All the sermons in the stones Jesus knew. So you can touch a stone, it contains enormous amount of energy. If you want to charge, don't eat. Just go and sit on a stone. That will charge you. According to Einstein, is theory called E is equal to mc squared. We all know that. So Einstein puts it so beautifully. If you have a small pebble, a small stone, you can produce electricity for 1 year for the whole city of Chennai. One small pebble of stone can produce electricity enough to run for the whole year of Chennai. E is equal to mc squared. That small pebble contains enormous amount of energy. So the stones if you have in Kavarapettai, just touch them, look at them with compassion. How humble they are. Even if they contain enormous amount of, you have one full library of wisdom, they are insignificant, simple. They lie down there. That's it. So sermon in stones. And Shakespeare finishes off his quote, good in everything, I would not change it. You know, good in everything, so I will not destroy it. Look at the wisdom. Everything looks good, I will not destroy it. If our generation learn from this quote, I think that will be the best education on deep ecology, model ethics. I conclude here and we will continue tomorrow. Thank you.